Okay, here we are, you guys. So it's Saturday morning, and I am kind of, getting a feel for the neighborhood. This is really important when you go into a new market. And, technically, this isn't a new market, right? I'm familiar with the Oregon coast, but it's different than Portland and surrounding areas, right? You have different things that you would be considered acceptable. For example, let's zoom up on this house right here. See all that rust? All that rust right there and the peeling sides and stuff like that, that's really common here. Like that would normally indicate distress. That would normally indicate distress, right? Like, oh my gosh, it's rusting and the paint is peeling. Well, if that's your marker, and I'm not trying to dog on the Oregon coast by any means, right? But if that's what you're like judging real estate by and like, oh, that could be a distressed, property, well, you'd probably be roping in I'd say maybe a 25% or more of the town, right? Because of the Oregon, I mean, even right here on the right there, right, the chimney and all that stuff, all the flashing. So even even when you're looking, for distressed properties, right, you have to kind of change your metrics a little bit. Certain areas, especially in Portland, 50% of the properties look like, not that great, right? But here at the coast, like I'm like I'm one street from the coastal line, right? So I'm going to show you guys the coast. Thank you, thank you, tax write-offs for making this possible. I wouldn't normally take a strategic retreat at the coast around my birthday time, but because of the power of investing in real estate and working full-time in the business, you get certain perks from the IRS, which is very, very nice. But so anyways, sorry to digress there. But, so obviously everybody wants beachfront property, right? Everybody wants that. No secret there. But the real secret is like, okay, what is a distressed property here? Like, right? Like, how much value do you get from being at that house versus this house with the coastal view, right? You know what I mean? So like it's hard for you to determine, especially when you come into a new market, right? Like a new area. Can you imagine just going to a different state that you've never been in before and you don't know? I mean, everybody, common sense, right? Coastal property, typically you're going to be you're going to be doing a little bit better price-wise than, if you're 5 rows back, right? I'll shut up for a second so everybody can enjoy this amazing view. But yeah, here's the deal, right? Like, I mean, you have that view, you have the hot tub down there in that corner there, you got this wraparound deck. Like, how much value does that provide? And also, it may detract, right? This is a bathroom right here. This is a public bathroom. You have this really nice mosaic art type of work right here, but this is like a kind of a public through to the beach right next to your property, right? So see, there you go. There's beach access and public restrooms. But you can see this is managed. Meredith Lodging, right? The Lookout. So so when you're looking at properties, you're like, okay, well, that's next to public stuff. Like, does that detract from value? And here's the thing, right? Compared to all of the beachfront properties, which one would you pick first? Would you pick that one up on the hill away from the restroom, or that one right next to the restroom, right? And typically when you're talking about beachfront property, beggars can't be choosers, right? So maybe that doesn't detract too much. Certain buyers may not like that, but certain buyers also want to be on the coast, right? Or like right, with the view. So, it's hard to, it's really hard to gauge when you're in a new market. So you really got to look at stuff. Wow, look at this. I'm just walking right by here. Look at this. If this doesn't look like a flip, I don't know what is. In fact, if you guys are interested, I might go look this property up because it's being gutted, right? 2624. It's being gutted right now. And I swear I didn't plan this. I literally, this is the first time I walked through here. So it's being completely gutted and renovated. They're missing some part of their roof. So that's a problem. I got this really nice paint, but they're missing back half of their property and half of the roof. So that's very strange. So I wonder how long that's been like that. I mean, you know, somebody's doing demo work, obviously, which is crazy that they're doing demo work. The front half of this looks amazing, but interesting, right? So you can see that there's flippers doing business out here on the coast. And here's another little thing that most people don't know. Believe it or not, and again, I'm not trying to be mean to anybody, finding contractors that do reasonable work at reasonable prices out here, it's like non-existent, right? For some reason, the coast lacks talent, which means for the naive wholesaler or flipper or investor, you might think, oh yeah, I can get, you know, in my area, I can get, you know, that whole thing done for, you know, 60K or 80K, right? That won't be the same out here unless you're shipping your people up here and you're paying them 2 hours to drive out here or more, lodging, food, right? Because they're not going to be going home, so you best believe you're going to be paying extra for that. And by the time you did all that, you might be able to control the quality of your flip, right? Because these are, you know, your contractors, but the price is probably going to be the same. Could be more. You know, I don't really know, right? It's tough, man, because the people who are, you know, amazing, everybody here knows them, and they're probably so up to their eyeballs in work that even if you offer them a premium, they may not even have time to get to you. So that's another thing, right? Like, who's going to do the work? Once you find a deal, once you negotiate it, like, okay, now you need to start figuring out, like, okay, well, how much is labor and materials going to be? You know, is materials significantly or noticeably more out here than it is where I'm from? And to be honest, I've never priced lumber out here. I've never priced materials out here. So I don't even know, right? I'd have to, you know, figure it out. And there's two ways to do it, right? Reach out to local real estate investors and kind of pick their brain if you can get somebody, you know, on the phone. Or find out the hard way and say, like, well, I'm going to assume that everything has a 10% markup to get it out here to the coast. And you could be wrong. Okay, it could be completely the same. Could go to a Home Depot, Jerry's, or whatever, Lowe's, and it, you know, pricing could be the same. They're just so big they can distribute everything, you know, in equal prices. Or it could be 20% more. You know, tough part of the business is you just don't know. But that's kind of the thing, you guys. I'm just out here prospecting, looking for properties, looking for deals. You never know when you're going to find something. Like, I walked by that flip property. You know who might know some really good contractors, or at least know the price of things? People who are actively flipping in the market. So if I go look up the owner of that property, I can figure out, like, when did they buy it? How long have they been into that project for? You know, and, you know, maybe they're looking for more work. Maybe they're looking for another property if I found something, right? If they're actively flipping, then there is a likelihood that they might want another property, right? So it helps if I'm a wholesaler. Not so much if I'm trying to buy and hold, right? Or flip myself. But shoot, man, it doesn't hurt to partner with somebody. Like, if he's got the crew, you know, and we go 50-50 on the money and I found the deal, might be worth partnering, right? So just things to think about, like when you're jumping into a new market, right? And I'm only 2 hours away from where I normally am, but it's just, the whole economy is so different out here at the coast, right? So many of these properties that I'm walking by are short-term rentals or mid-term rentals, right? Hotels, motels. Like, I mean, this is definitely a vacation destination because of its proximity to the ocean. You know, how does that affect your numbers? You know, if you're trying to do a buy and hold situation, or if you're at STR right now during December, like, the ocean is beautiful year round, but it's windy and it's kind of cold right now and it's kind of rainy, right? Not peak season at all. And that's why I'm here, because the prices are lower. Pro tip, right? Don't go when everybody else go. Everyone else goes. In fact, a lot of the tourists are here, so you know, you have more access to the town and all the cool stuff. Okay, I got this really other cool beach shot here, and then I'll wrap up this video. Okay, you guys. So my short-term rental down here. By the way, not gonna call anyone out, but when I was looking around on Airbnb, I was looking for beachfront property because I deserve it. But they cut their price in half So think about that. If you're running your numbers and you think during the summertime you're going to rake in, $10,000 a month, you'd be lucky, right? They were lucky that I booked that, right? Because there is a lot of options. There's a lot of options in December at the Oregon coast. So they cut their price at least in half. And that literally showed on the Airbnb, right? I'm not making that up. They didn't tell me they did that as a sales tactic. You can tell, like, hey, the Airbnb literally told me, like, this is a great deal. It's like half off. So I was like, oh, cool, right on. So anyways, that's a good time. Now is a great time to go scouting for deals. And here's the other thing. Now is a great time to buy stuff, right? Because you have lack of competition, right? There's less buyers buying stuff right now. Interest rates are higher in traditional winter. Just people don't like buying stuff in December. And again, it might be different, like in Texas or Florida, where the season doesn't really change as much as it does here in Oregon. But like now, when it's cold and it's rainy and it's icky and it's gray outside, nobody wants to go out here shopping for deals. But the people who are selling right now might have to sell. And they might have to take whatever you're offering. So think about that.